Now, there was a lot of reasons why I thought Gypsy Rose left her husband, but hoarding food was not one of them. His snoring and the fact that when he slept, he was like a human furnace. When Gypsy Rose said the D is fire, maybe she meant it was literally hot. She is a black widow.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is dragging her ex-husband. She is spilling all of his dark secrets and making fun of him. Gypsy said that she can't stand sleeping next to Ryan because of his snoring and how sweaty he is. She also said that they fight a lot about his food and how he won't stop hoarding food in their apartment. This situation is a mess, so let's get into it. If you aren't subscribed to the Let's Get Into It podcast, then you're only getting half the tea. For longer videos, deep dives, and of course, more of me, subscribe to the Let's Get Into It podcast listed in the description below. The more we learn about Gypsy's life after lockup, the more bizarre everything gets, especially when we're talking about her romantic life. I mean, we all know that she is divorcing Ryan, her ex-husband, who she married while she was incarcerated, but we didn't really know why. I mean, she did say that he got aggressive, but now we've learned that they had a blow-up fight because of his hoarding of food. Again, this is what Gypsy is saying about Ryan. Reports say that Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ryan Anderson got into a major fight about his food hoarding ways before splitting up. Now, I don't know who at TMZ is in contact with Gypsy, but I'm pretty sure they have a source and she is happy to spill the tea on everything. Sources close to Gypsy tell TMZ that she wasn't fully aware of Ryan's hoarding issues regarding food before moving in with him after her release from prison, which that would make sense to me. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't recommend getting married to someone while in prison because you really don't get to see how they are in life at all. So I'm sure that Gypsy came into a situation where, I mean, I don't know Ryan. I don't know if he battles with his weight. I would assume like he has issues with hoarding food because that is what Gypsy was so upset by. And TMZ claims they're told that this caused tension for the couples in their 2-bedroom apartment that they shared. Now, I don't know why they're bringing up the 2-bedroom aspect. Are they trying to say that food was in like every single room? Like was food just taking over the space because they were crammed into this apartment together? Ryan allegedly collects and keeps food items in bulk, which Gypsy wasn't feeling. Gypsy told people around her the hoarding behavior reminded her of her late mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, which keep in mind, her mother put her through hell. That woman should be incarcerated, but you know, she's no longer with us. I do think it's interesting that Ryan does look similar to Dee Dee. I mean, if you put it side by side, you cannot deny that these two have some similar characteristics. So if they're behaving the same, I mean, I'm sure Gypsy is all around just triggered. We're told that Gypsy was especially bothered by Ryan's fridge, as it was filled with a bunch of old food items that needed to be thrown away, and when he wasn't home, that's exactly what Gypsy did. When Ryan discovered the cleared out fridge, he was not happy, and our sources say that sparked a huge argument which left Gypsy feeling shaken. Oh, poor Gypsy. She found it scary. He got so worked up about the fridge, and remember, we initially learned that she thought he was going to get physical with her, which is never okay. Reports say that Gypsy allegedly felt shaken by the fight and thought it was scary that Ryan got so worked up and started banging on a door at some point. But we're told that's not the only issue this couple had. We're told that Gypsy also struggled with Ryan snoring. Damn, it looks like Ryan can't catch a break. And it made it supposedly difficult for Gypsy to sleep, which made her upset. Plus, she told loved ones Ryan's kind of a human furnace, running very hot at night, and she likes sleeping in a cold bed. Wow. I mean, she's really throwing him under the bus. I mean, she's calling him a human furnace, which I kind of relate to. I run hot, so Ryan, I get it.
When Gypsy Rose said the D is fire, maybe she meant it was literally hot because according to TMZ, the reason behind Gypsy Rose and Ryan Anderson's breakup had to do with his food hoarding, his snoring, and the fact that when he slept, he was like a human furnace. Whether these are the only reasons behind the breakup, I don't know, but I will say I personally do believe these are all legitimate reasons why people would break up. And it's more realistic than what we normally hear. You know, celeb couples break up, they file, they say irreconcilable differences, or we mutually parted ways. But these are realistic reasons. And lately, we've also been hearing that the key to successful relationships is separate bedrooms.
Now, even TMZ can acknowledge that this all may be trivial, but when you add it up, it was just too many life adjustments for Gypsy. Now, remember, Gypsy and Ryan were married for almost 2 years while she was incarcerated. The pair split up 3 months after Gypsy was released.
Now, there was a lot of reasons why I thought Gypsy Rose left her husband, but hoarding food was not one of them. Remember, they split up after only 3 months of physically being together while she was at the Chillicothe Correctional Center. But I think that's so crazy that she ended up leaving her husband. I told you guys this, and y'all came for me and y'all ate me up for filth, and y'all said, "You're so mean." I said, y'all, she is a black widow. She uses and abuses men, and that's exactly what she's gonna do until her last days. It's just her MO. There's nothing wrong with being a black widow. Shit, she has a right to like and dislike what she likes. Just don't anyone in the process.
Now, it does all seem very dramatic, and I mean, we are dealing with Gypsy Rose, and she is a character in her own right. I mean, we've seen her in the documentary, we've seen her in retellings of her story, and there's definitely a strong character when it comes to Gypsy, and even watching how she's acting after getting free, it is a roller coaster. This person commented, "She left after one big fight, ? So it doesn't seem like Gypsy was in it for the long haul. Maybe she wanted the companionship while she was in jail, but also keep in mind, she probably is just a little bit delayed with everything because she has been, stunted by her own mother. So she doesn't really know what she wants and what's best for her yet. But randomly, speaking of these remakes of Gypsy Rose, actor star Joey King says she texted Gypsy Rose since her prison release. Joey said that she and Gypsy Rose recently had a nice exchange. Quote, "Nice." Good, because there were rumors that Gypsy wasn't necessarily happy that Joey played her. She'd rather see someone like, who was it? Millie Bobby Brown. Millie, what's her name again? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Gypsy said she wanted Millie Bobby Brown to play her in a remake of her life.
Do you have a choice on who you would want to play you in something like that?
It's funny because I always wanted Millie Bobby Brown to play me. So I think she would be good at playing me.
Well, Millie Bobby Brown, do you hear that?
Right.
You guys can work together.
I always had you in mind.
Keep in mind that Joey King did earn an Emmy for playing Gypsy in the series, and she said they spoke over text in a recent podcast episode.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Joey King confirmed that there's no ill towards each other after having a private conversation following Gypsy's prison release. Her story was made into a series called The Act, where Joey portrayed Gypsy and earned a Golden Globe and an Emmy nomination for her performance. Gypsy was released last year after serving 8 years, and since she's been out, she said she was never approached by the Act team or paid for her story. And while we don't know too much about their conversation, Joey did clear up some hate-filled rumors that there was beef between the pair. Joey told Variety that they know that there's no ill towards each other, and she really appreciated having a sweet and supportive chat with Gypsy, because people assume whatever they want and just make situations up because it's funny to them. Confirming that there's no air to clear at all, and it was nice to just connect for a minute. So there's nothing but love between Joey and Gypsy.
Now, I actually think it's really nice that they did have this connection, because I think as an actor or an actress, you really put yourself in that position of what that person had been going through. And I'm sure Joey kind of has a somewhat understanding of what Gypsy's story entailed. So I think it's nice that they did have some exchange. The actress noted that making the series was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. She said, apart from getting to meet her now husband, Steven, that's nice, she got to meet her husband on set, she credited the series as being an exciting piece of material. Joey said, but also it's someone's real life. There's a big responsibility there, and it's not like a biopic, and the person's not alive anymore. Yeah, because Gypsy is around, and she will eventually get out. So if Joey really messed it up, then she may end up on Gypsy's hit list. On the podcast, Joey recalled feeling that she would have a very hard time getting work if she did a poor job portraying Gypsy, which I'm sure every actor feels that way. I mean, if you're going to get a big gig, you better deliver on it or you're going to flop. But she said the character Gypsy is so different from who she is. She doesn't sound like that when speaking. Of course, she doesn't really move like that because Gypsy had been in a wheelchair for most of her life. She said getting to be so challenged with a character, it was a great experience, and having that real person to exist, that was scary. I mean, yeah, she might send someone to come get you.
What do you perceive of her new fame? Are you happy for her?
I'm so happy that she's released. I'm so happy for her. She deserves freedom.
Now let's switch gears and talk a little bit about Gypsy's recent plastic surgery. Reports say that Gypsy shows off her new nose for the first time, even though she's still healing. Now, really, I don't feel like I have an opinion here. I mean, I think that we need Lori Hill to go ahead and give us an opinion on what's going on. I think that she looks great nonetheless. I mean, good for her. And she's got her Coca-Cola, her Sprite. You guys know that she loves her sodies. It looks like that might even be an ice pop in the buggy. So yeah, look at that. She's over here shopping at Walmart with the buggy and showing off that new nose, which I think, I mean, honestly, slay. Reports say that Gypsy has a new nose and she was spotted showing it off publicly for the first time this week, even though she's clearly in the healing phase. Just days after her plastic surgery last Friday, Gypsy was out picking up groceries at a Dollar General store in Cutoff, Louisiana. Which, good for Gypsy. She was out with her stepmom, Christy, who we saw in her Lifetime documentary, and they were doing normal people things. But I do think it's interesting that the paparazzi happened to be there. Like, did someone just take that picture? Did she call someone? I mean, who's in the middle of Louisiana to take a picture of Gypsy at a Dollar General? TMZ claims they obtained these photos where she is showing off her new nose. I wonder if her stepmom actually took these, because I don't see her stepmom in the back, and maybe she would be taking these to send to Gypsy's like source that she has at TMZ, who's helping her create these articles. Someone noticed that it looks like Gypsy was wearing Ken's shirt, who Ken is her ex-fiance. They are questioning whether their relationship is really platonic, because it does seem like Gypsy had left Ryan and went right back to her ex Ken. People do question how she paid for this $5,000 surgery. I mean, it was a rhinoplasty and septoplasty, so I think that insurance will cover the septoplasty. Some people question whether this will change her speaking voice. I don't necessarily think it could change her speaking voice unless she really did have an intense septoplasty and it was making her sound like this, and maybe it would change it. I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I am honestly like a huge fan of her now. She gets out and literally the first thing the does is get a nose job. Like, she is on top of it. I applaud the bitch. She literally just gets it. She is very self-aware. She knows that she wasted a lot of time being ugly, locked away. The moment she gets out, she takes care of the problem. Like, I just, to be honest, love it.
In the words of HRH, I just love it. We love to see it. And Gypsy living her best free life. I mean, if you guys want to go and see my interview with Alex HRH Collection, definitely go and check it out on the Let's Get Into It podcast page. I was just looking at that last night, and the clips about the fish fillet and things like that. So she's definitely an interesting person. We, you know, we're friends of her on the channel, on the Let's Get Into It at least. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, go ahead and do your thing, but please don't try to hurt any people along the way. Not just physically, I mean just hurting people in general, because I'm sure Ryan is upset with you going to TMZ and telling them that he's a hot furnace and that he's hoarding food. We all know Ryan is not, like, you know, the most fit guy. I'm not saying he's the biggest one. I don't think he needs a TLC show. He's fine on the Lifetime show. But anyways, be nice to each other. You know, we don't need to, you know, act that way. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye, guys.